So let's start by organising all of the pieces that need to be fused together. I've got my tassel piece here, and then I've got my bonder web. Now you want to put your tassel piece so that the right side is facing down, so you're looking at the wrong side of the fabric. And then take your bonder web, and you'll see that one side is kind of rough and gluey and slightly shiny. You want to put that face down onto the back of your fabric. And then using your iron on a medium setting, you just want to press and that bonder web down. And you've got kind of a paper backing. If you peel that off, then the glue will be left, and you'll be left with a shiny gluey effect on the back of your fabric. Just peel it off nice and carefully. So I'm just peeling off the paper, and I'm leaving the glue. Wait for it to cool down a bit. So I can discard that paper now. Whoops. And I've got a nice gluey backing on my piece of fabric for the tassel. And the next thing to do is you're going to fold this in half. Oops. Matching everything up. It doesn't match up perfectly, don't worry, because we're going to trim it a little bit later. And it will naturally want to stick together, in fact, because it's still a little bit warm. But let's give it an additional press as well. So having folded it together, I'll just put my pressing cloth or my tea towel on there, and I will just add a bit of pressure and hold and press that together. And that will glue the fabric together, and that will later become the tassel for the front of my bag. So what I'll do now is we don't need this just yet. So I'm going to just put that to one side, and I'm going to weigh it down. I've got a nice book here that I'm going to weigh that down with. And I'm just going to leave that there with a couple of books to weigh it down. So I've just got, just to show you, whoops, there's my piece of fabric folded in half. And I'm just going to pop that to the side, pop my books on top, and that will keep that really glued together nicely. So that's ready to come back to for when I want to make my tassel. And we want to do exactly the same with these strips here. So these strips are going to be cut down much narrower. I find it easier actually to start with a wider piece and then to cut them down rather than starting with a narrower piece. I just find this a bit easier, so that if things go slightly skewy, you've got some room to neaten things up. So this is going to end up being a lot slimmer actually, but I just find this to be a nice easy way. So we're just pressing that bonder web on there, and then you want to peel back the paper element. Leaving behind the gluey residue on the back of your fabric. And then you're going to make a sandwich with your other piece. Whoop. So the bonder web is just double-sided adhesive for bonding two pieces of fabric together. And then what I'll do is, again, I will press that together with my iron. And then I'll pop that under a book as well to weigh it all down. Next, let's take the base of our bag, and we've got our Decoville. The Decoville is 1 centimetre less all the way round, so it's leaving you with that 1 centimetre seam allowance around the base of your bag. And I can just, again, on a medium setting, I just press and hold. So I've got the back of my leatherette fabric, and I've got my Decoville there with the gluey, shiny side facing down. And I just press and hold my iron. You can use a pressing cloth if you like. And you just want that to sit centrally, so you've got a 1 centimetre. This pattern has a 1 centimetre seam allowance all the way around. So you just want to have a 1 centimetre margin around the edge of that piece. Then I've got my lining for my bag, for my base of my bag. And I'm gonna I've got my fusible fleece, which is the same size. And again, I'm looking at the wrong side, and I've got the gluey rough side there. And I should use a pressing cloth actually, because when the heat of your iron plate touches this fleece, sometimes it causes it to shrink, doesn't like it. So I'm just using pressing cloth. And you just need to apply a bit of pressure and count to 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then you move along to the next bit, and again you apply a bit of pressure. I'm on the 2 dot wall setting, count to 15. You can also dampen this pressing cloth if you like. And that's now fused together with the fusible fleece. Lastly, take your lining piece intended for your internal pocket, lay it down so you're looking at it in a portrait setting. You're looking at the wrong side of the fabric, and take your piece of interfacing that you've cut for the zip pocket and place it 1 centimetre down and 1 centimetre in from each edge. And then we're just going to fuse that on there, and that's where our zip is going to go. Lovely. There are just 2 more pieces of interfacing, and these are actually where the popper will go, where the snap will go. But they need to be applied later once the centre front and centre back seams are sewn. So just hold on to those for now. That's the only piece of fusing we're going to need to do later. All the other fusing is done, and we're ready to start sewing.